this video last week and my audio got messed up, so I couldn't use it. So this is now my second time filming this video, and hopefully all goes well. I'll be doing some dental mic fluffing whenever I can remember. I've also been putting this video off for a while because this show is just big time chaos. Like, there's so much going on, there's a lot to say, there's, things just happen very quickly and unexpectedly, and I have to say the show is stressing me out. I think I'm enjoying the show. So at this point I'm like halfway through season 2 already, so I'm almost done with it, or I'm almost fully caught up. But yeah, I don't know what I was expecting. This is just a lot, so let's get into it. I think I need to be a little bit more selective with what shows I decide to review on this channel, because there's nothing relaxing about this content. So hopefully you can feel relaxed by the mic fluffing and the whispers, and maybe just zone out if you want to. But if you're interested in the show, I hope you enjoy. Either way. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to take a sip of water first. Okay. Now, the first thought that I had in this show is, why is the dog's name Django? I was wondering if there was like some kind of relevance to that. I even googled if there's like a famous Django that they like named their dog after. I just couldn't understand why they chose to name Django for this dog. Because I mean, if you've seen the movie Django, I wouldn't name my dog that. I don't know, but anyway. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty graphic show. Again, I didn't know what to expect when I was going into this, and what I got is definitely not what I expected. So basically, the show opens and we meet this kid, and I believe the show opens and he's like in bed with his girlfriend, right? And we'll talk about his girlfriend later. But basically, or maybe the show opened with the family. I don't remember what it opened with exactly, but we see this kid and his girlfriend, and then we see this other kid who I believe like it was his birthday, or I don't know, but his father gives him a motorcycle as a gift, right? And so he goes, and it's him, and he has a sister, and his mom and his dad, so his parents, right? And he gets this motorcycle, and he goes and takes it out for a test drive. And while this is happening, the other kid who we see with his girlfriend, in bed with his girlfriend, he gets up, and it's the anniversary of his mother's death, right? The 1-year anniversary of his mother's death. So this kid is called Adam. The other kid with the motorcycle is called Rocco. So Rocco goes out to try his motorcycle, and Adam goes out to, he's on his way to the scene where his mom was murdered, right? So Adam's driving his car, and Rocco's on his motorcycle, and these two literally collide, right? So there's a big crash. Wait, but before they crash, Adam went to where his mom was killed, and it's like not a very good part of the city. So there's the whole show takes place in New Orleans, which I love New Orleans, by the way. I've been there twice. I love it there. But yeah, so he goes to the scene where his mom was killed, and he like puts down like a picture frame or whatever, like a little memorial memorabilia thing for her. And the gang who, like controls the area or whatever, they see him there, they start to follow him. He gets scared, he gets in his car, he drives away. He's having an asthma attack while he's driving. He dropped his asthma pump, and now he's looking for it. And then that's how he ends up crashing into Rocco. And Rocco, this is where I said it gets really graphic, because he like smacks his head against the pavement, his leg is all twisted and broken, he's like coughing up blood, like this kid is really gonna die. And Adam, instead of just like calling the police and being like, please, I had an accident, come help this guy, I don't remember if Adam called the police from Rocco's phone, or if Rocco was able to dial 911 just like panicked. Meanwhile, he's still having a panic attack. He never got his inhaler. Or I'm sorry, he's having an asthma attack, which I'm assuming is turning into a panic attack at this point. And so he's covered in Rocco's blood. He's like trying to save him with his own bare hands, which, like, you're not a doctor. Mind you, all this time, Adam is the son of a very famous, or like very well-renowned New Orleans judge, right? So you would think he would have the common sense to just be like, okay, this was an accident, let me just call the police. But no, he completely panicked, freaked out, and then, like, covered in blood, went back to his car. He like crawled back to his car and left Rocco there to die, pretty much. So I'm saying this kid is dumb. Now he has blood all over the car. He's definitely getting caught. Why did he keep Rocco's phone? Please tell me that. He held onto Rocco's phone and brought it into the car with him and everything. Then the cops pull up next to him and he's literally covered in blood and panicking, and they don't even notice. Hello. Okay, then we cut to another scene. And at this point, I think we don't know who the judge is. Like, we don't know him yet. Like, he hasn't been introduced. This is the first time we're seeing him, and he has like a hoodie on and he's jogging. And again, he's in the lower ninth, which is like the bad part, the bad area where Adam just was, right? Where the mom got killed. Where the gang is located. Desire Gang is what it's called. So he's there and he walks up to this house, and the house has like a screen door, and the actual main door is open, and there's just a bunch of kids in there. So the older kid looks at the dude in his doorway with his hood on. You can't really even see his face. He looks very creepy and sinister, and he's like, what do you want? Like, who are you? Are you the cops? What's going on? What are you doing here? And the judge doesn't say anything. Let's see. And then later we find out, he goes into a courtroom, and we find out that the mom who's on trial is being accused of, I forgot what exactly she was being accused of, but the cop who was on the stand was basically lying, and I guess judge just like trusted his intuition and went to go scope the scene, and that's why he was at that house, standing in the doorway all sinister like, because he wanted to see if what the cop was saying was credible, and it turned out that he wasn't. So he let the mom go back to her family, back to her kids or whatever. So at this point, I liked him. I was like, that's awesome. I love that for him. Okay, then we cut back to Adam, and Adam is running out of gas, so he stops at a gas station covered in blood and panicking. Like, what? You need to just make it home at this point. Like, forget the gas. Because obviously there's going to be cameras at the gas station, right? Every gas station has cameras in it. And then he goes home and he takes off all his clothes and he puts them in the washer, which, like, if you've ever seen any crime show ever, there's going to be residue of the blood in the washer now, so now you have to get rid of the whole washing machine. Like, why wouldn't you just get in the shower immediately with all your clothes on? Please, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I literally wrote, obviously he's never watched a crime show. Okay, so then the judge comes home, and Adam pretty much confesses everything that happens to him, and at this point I'm like, they need to just go to the police. I felt like judge was a little bit like hesitant to go to the police for like a second, but then he decides, okay, you know what, we're gonna turn this in, but we're gonna go to like people that I trust. So he calls a lawyer and he calls a detective, people that he trusts, right? So the detective's name is Nancy and the lawyer's name is Lee. So he contacts them, neither one of them answer, but he leaves messages for both of them, right? And this is relevant again later, but let's see, where are we? So yeah, they're getting ready to go to the precinct. They're gonna go confess to the police, and Adam wants to bring Django in the car. He's like, can Django come? Priorities. Hello. So now for some reason I'm thinking that he's gonna go to prison with the people who killed his mom, but we don't really technically know who killed his mom. I think like everybody just kind of assumes that it was somebody from Desire, the gang, but we don't know for sure. Like, the mom's story is kind of unclear. And then, okay, so they get to the precinct and Adam stays in the car and judge goes in, and I'm thinking Adam's gonna do something stupid. He's gonna like run away or something, right? But no, parents of Rocco finding out the news that they just lost their son, right? And he completely panics, and he turns around and walks out the precinct. And it turns out that the reason that he did that is because Rocco's parents are like one of the biggest crime families in the city, Jimmy Baxter and Gina Baxter. So he freaks out. He's like, they're gonna kill my son. We can't let them know that he did this. And he now, at this point, he's gonna try everything he can to protect his son. And yeah, I wrote that judge is stupid too. So I feel like they just should have, like, they needed to turn him in and just like get the best protection for him or something. But I mean, I get it. He was scared, so. He goes home and he tries to like destroy all the evidence, so all the bloody clothes and stuff. He like grabs everything in a bag, takes everything in a garbage, and he's doing a really diligent job of it. But then Django comes up and grabs a bloody towel and drags it into the house without Judge knowing. So way to go, Django, right? I'm like, they gotta get rid of the car, they gotta get rid of the washer and dryer. And then not last scene, but towards the end, they're just like sitting, watching TV, bonding, hanging out, chilling. Like, he didn't just literally do it and run. Hello, he needs to be put on punishment. Like, go to your room, close the door, think about what you did. Okay, anyway, so last scene of the first episode, Jimmy and Gina go with their little redheaded head honcho to the scene where Rocco passed away, and they find Adam's inhaler. Obviously, they don't know who Adam is yet, but they find this inhaler, and they take it with them, right? So now we're moving on to episode 2, and we meet Charlie. I don't know if this is the first time we're meeting Charlie, but this is the first time I mention him. So Charlie is, I don't know what his position is, but he's running for mayor. And Charlie is also Judge's best friend from when they were kids, like 6 years old, so childhood best friend. And basically Judge asks Charlie to get rid of the car, no questions asked, right? And Judge is like, he has like a serious moral compass, like he's known for being really just, and so people are just like trusting him kind of blindly because he's such a good judge. And he's really using that to his advantage at this point. So Adam is freaking out. He's like, I can't do this. And then the detective comes, and Nancy, the one that Judge had called in the beginning that didn't answer, she comes and is like, what's up? Like, how can I help or whatever? And he like does this whole story about how the car got stolen, right? Mind you, he had just asked Charlie to get rid of the car. So Charlie called someone from, I think he called, it was like a chain of events, right? So he called someone who called someone else, and that someone else was in the Desire crew. He's like the right hand man of the head honcho of the Desire crew. His name's Lomo. So Lomo goes and picks this guy up, and he's like, I need you to go take this car. But they had set it up to where the keys were just going to be sitting on top of the left tire. So he literally just walked up to Judge's house, picked up the keys, took the car, and he was supposed to go destroy it, right? But at this point, Judge had already told the detective that the car was stolen. So he was like, you can just drop it. And she was not trying to drop it because she's a good detective, right? So she found the car, and they arrested the guy that took the car. So now this kid's name is Kofi, and he's part of the Desire crew, and that's all I'm gonna say about him for now. Then Adam goes to school, and we find out that his girlfriend from the beginning is his freaking teacher, bro. Like, what? Hello? A lot going on in this show, I'm telling you. Yeah, so now I got a whole mess with the car. And then when they pull over Kofi in the car, the cops are standing there, a detective's standing there, and a freaking bike park part falls out from under the front of the car. Like, come on now. Also, while Kofi was driving, there was like a baseball rolling around in the bottom of the car, and he like picked it up, so he took it with him, and that does become relevant later on in the show. So not good at this. They should have turned himself in. Like, he should have turned himself in. I lost my place. Yeah, so he's looking up the dead kid. Judge is asking for more details about what happened that night, and I'm thinking, like, surely you guys should have talked about this before you started covering up a crime. But, you know, what do I know? And then we cut to a scene of Jimmy Baxter, like, killing his bird for some reason. I don't know why that was necessary. Very disturbing. Okay, and now the cops who pulled Kofi over took him to, like, some warehouse and, like, chained him up, basically, because now Jimmy Baxter thinks that Kofi is the one who ran over his son, right? Because he was the one that was driving the car and the bike part fell out and all that stuff, right? So some dirty cops go and they take him. So these dirty cops are working with Jimmy Baxter. So they take him to this warehouse, they chain him up, and they basically torture him until he decides to, like, confess or whatever. So I don't think he confessed, because obviously he didn't do it. But they take him to jail anyway. And at some point we find out that he is the oldest son of the woman who was in court earlier. So the house that Judge was scoping out, that mom, that's his mom, right? So all those kids are his siblings, all those kids that were in the house. So I'm thinking Jimmy's gonna get him, he's gonna kill Kofi, like, something's gonna happen to this kid. So now they find out that Kofi is from the Desire crew, and it seems like there's gonna be, like, a whole all-out, like, gang war, because they're thinking that Desire targeted them, when really, you know, it wasn't them at all. So then Kofi goes to jail, and what's his name, Little Mo contacts him while he's in jail, and he's like, you need to just take the fall for this, just be a good soldier, basically, is what they're telling him. And this is a kid, like, I feel like, what is he, like, 18, 19 maybe? And he was about to get out too, because when he was sitting in the precinct, he was talking to, like, the guy at the front desk, and, you know, he's, like, eating a sandwich or whatever. The guy gave him a sandwich, and he's, like, bonding with the dude, and he's like, you know, just let me go, kind of thing. And the dude was really gonna let him go, but then the dirty cops came back and took him. So now Kofi's in trouble. Now he's got to stay in jail, he's got to confess, he's got to be a good soldier and all this stuff, right? Charlie is involved with the filthy cops too, and then Lee shows up, the lawyer, that Judge had called in the beginning, and now she gets involved because Judge, I don't know if this happens in the next episode, but I'm just gonna say it now. Judge basically asks her to help Kofi because he feels bad that he's the reason that Kofi's in jail, and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to Kofi. So now we're moving on to episode 3, and Adam is taking pictures at the scene of the crime. Why, bro? Why are you even there? This kid is driving me nuts. Okay, poor Kofi's in jail. And then, yeah, like, the judge is working hard to cover Adam's tracks, and he's over here going back to the scene of the crime, taking pictures, like, please. And then, for some reason, Adam goes to the jail, and the prison guard, he's taking pictures at the jail from, like, outside, and the prison guards see him, and they're like, you cannot do that, like, what are you doing here, what's your name? And he goes and gives his full government name, and he's like, my dad's a judge. What are you doing? What are you doing? So then we cut to Lee is trying to get Kofi a good deal. They're talking about the dirty cops. They're saying that it's like an urban myth, but obviously they all know that the cops are dirty. There's dirty judges. Like, a lot of the government and law enforcement in New Orleans are just dirty, right? So everybody kind of knows this. I guess it's like a thing. Then we find out that the Baxters have an older son. So at this point they have 3 kids. They have Rocco, the one who just passed away. They have a daughter, Sophia, who I don't know if she's older either the youngest or the middle child. And then we have Carlo, who is in jail, and he went to jail for a racially motivated crime. So he almost killed somebody, attempted murder, I guess, and he's due to get out of jail in just a couple of days. But they want to let him out early. Not early. They don't want to let him out early. They just want to let him out on furlough so that he can go to Rocco's funeral. So the mom is like bribing the priest to convince them to let him out for the funeral or whatever. And then let's see. We'll get back to that later. So now Adam is in the courthouse, and he's in the elevator with these two kids, and the two kids are talking about like what they did, like why they're in court or whatever their case is. And I think they were both just like weed related small crimes, and they turn to Adam and they're like, what are you here for? And he's like, a murder. Like, you're asking for it, bro. You're literally asking for it, and your dad is literally risking his job and his life to help you, and you're over here telling people, strangers in the elevator, that you murdered someone. Like, please. Seriously. Anyway. Then Charlie and Judge are talking in this barbershop, and, you know, Judge is not really going into full detail about what's going on, but Charlie can see that he's stressed out, like something's up, and Judge is telling Charlie, like, yeah, it's okay, I got it, and no, he doesn't, Charlie, he doesn't got it, I promise. And then we cut to Judge is going to parent-teacher conference with his teacher girlfriend, right? Awkward. Adam is being very dramatic. I don't remember why I said that, but he is being very dramatic in the beginning, or like always. So then we cut to, we're at Rocco's funeral now, right? And this is a really weird situation because, so Gina's there, she's like, I'm not like going through this funeral without my son, talking about the older son, Carlo, the one who's in jail, right? But I guess they never really got a definitive answer on whether or not he was going to be allowed to come. So they're just like kind of sitting there waiting for him, and they don't even know if he's going to show up, right? And then Judge shows up like in his jogging clothes, and he's like off to the side so nobody can really see him. He's got his hood up again. Incognito Judge, right? And then Carlos shows up with two prison guards, and as soon as they get there, they switch out the two prison guards, which it looks really sus already. And so the Baxter mom starts walking up to Carlo, and the guards are like, you know, you're not supposed to talk to him, like, we're not supposed to allow this or whatever. And she's like, that's my son, you're not gonna tell me what I'm gonna do, and he's here to bury his brother, and blah blah blah, and like whatever. She's just so annoying. And so they let her walk up to him for some reason, and she hugs him, and she's whispering something in his ear. So immediately I'm thinking like they're gonna send the big brother to like go unalive Kofi, right? Unalive him. At this point I might as well just say what it is, because I've been saying it this whole time, right? So they're sending him, something bad is about to happen to Kofi, right? And then we cut to, okay, so now the judge is realizing that something's about to go down, so he runs. He's like jetting to go like try to make sure that Kofi's okay. Also, something happened between him and Lee, and they have like a thing going on, like, I don't know, some type of attraction. And I'm wondering why Lee is into this man. Like, I don't get it, but whatever, that's besides the point right now. So I'm thinking Kofi's saved because he gets back in time to like call whoever he has to call to like get Kofi transferred to a different jail, right? Because so what's happening is Carlo, he was up at a different jail, right, separate from Kofi, and they, since he got this furlough, they brought him closer to home just for one night. So somehow they finagled it to where he ended up in the same jail as Kofi just for that one night, right? So yeah, Judge deduces all of this, and he goes and tries to save Kofi. So I'm thinking Kofi's saved. I'm very excited about it. I'm happy about it. But Kofi also knows what's like, he kind of figures out what's going on, because when Carlo gets to the jail, everybody kind of knows who he is already, right? Because his family is like notorious or whatever. So people are saying who he is, and obviously Kofi knows that he just confessed to his little brother's murder, right? So he's gonna figure that like this guy's not gonna mess with it, like, you know, this guy doesn't like him, like this guy is gonna try something on him, right? So whatever, I'm thinking he's saved. And then at the end of this episode, Adam goes and tells his teacher girlfriend that he killed Rocco. Why would you do that? He and his father agreed that they were not going to speak to anyone about this ever again. And then he goes and tells his girlfriend. And even she was like, bro, you should not be telling me this. Like, don't talk about this. You need to protect yourself, kind of thing. Also, I'm sorry if this video comes out a little bit choppy in some parts. It's like really noisy outside. There's a lot of like trucks and garbage trucks passing and stuff, and like motorcycles for some reason. It's like 4 or 5 in the morning, but whatever. Anyways, so now we're gonna move on to episode 4. And the opening scene of this. Okay, so at the end of episode 3, Kofi's talking to his cellmate, and the cellmate is basically telling him like, you're not gonna be able to avoid the situation. If you're gonna be in jail, you need to like stand your ground, and just like confront the situation head on. Basically, obviously that's not how he said it, but that's just what I got from it. So Kofi at the end of episode 3 goes to. Wait, I didn't even mention the part where the prison guards take Kofi to the infirmary and they clear the whole infirmary out and they send 2 guys to go like kill him. But then another prison guard comes and like kind of saves the day or whatever. Like he finds them in there and he's like, what are y'all doing? And Kofi was like, they came to kill me. So that's why I thought he was saved. But then he went to go talk to his cellmate, and his cellmate convinced him to confront what's his name, Carlo. So then at the end of the episode, he goes to Carlo's cell to go like talk to Carlo. But then the opening scene of episode 4 is literally Kofi's dead, and I didn't want to believe it at first. I was like, was it him? That's not him. I'm stressed out. And then it turned out it was him. And then the lieutenant or whatever, like the head of the prison, was basically like, we don't deal with murder in this jail, so I'm gonna send you back to your jail and we're gonna pretend like this never happened. Question mark, like what? You're gonna pretend it never happened? But I shouldn't have been surprised because there's so many dirty cops. Like, why wouldn't this guy be dirty too, right? So they're just gonna like brush it under the rug or whatever, and Lee comes and she's like, what happened to my client? He was just alive yesterday and now he's gone. Like, what's going on? And the lieutenant guy or whoever, the head of the jail, he's like, yeah, I don't know, we're gonna investigate, but if you want to help your client, why don't you take his things and go tell his parents? And she's like, you didn't even tell his family? Like, yeah, like, hello, what's going on? So basically, Lee goes and takes Kofi's belongings to his family. She breaks the news and she brings Judge with her. So now the baseball is in Kofi's belongings, and so the brother Eugene, who was the one who saw Judge in the beginning in the doorway and was like, who are you? Like, are you the cops? He has the baseball now, right? Because that's like Kofi's younger brother. And then what else is happening? Let's see. I wrote a lot of stuff and I don't even remember why it was relevant. So now, Adam is talking to the teacher girlfriend about the situation again, and she's basically telling him to like shut up, and he's like getting all mad about it, and he's like, okay, Miss Latimer, like all calling her Miss Latimer, like what is wrong with you? Meanwhile, she's like in love with this kid, like a weird, awkward situation. We'll get into it more later. And then we cut to the Baxter family, and basically Gina is trying to convince Jimmy that he needs to take action, even though, like, y'all literally just killed this boy. Like, what more do you need? But she's still feeling like they need some kind of redemption, and that, you know, if Jimmy doesn't do anything, it's making them look bad and whatever. So, really, I think she's the real villain here. And then I feel like Eugene is gonna get dropped in the game at this point because the Desire Crew is like, you know, oh, we're gonna take care of the family kind of thing, and now Eugene is the oldest son, so I'm just like concerned for him at this point. I don't want Eugene in the game. And I think they end up giving Eugene money, like Lomo gives him a wad of cash or something. So now, then we cut back to Adam at school, and his best friend says something inappropriate about his teacher girlfriend, and he like freaks out, and they get into a fight, right? So now Adam is on the verge of being expelled because they have a zero tolerance policy. his grandma on his mom's side, by the way, happens to be a senator, right? So she comes and like saves him, and all he gets is suspension, right? But now she's in the mix, so she's asking questions. She's like, where were you guys? You know, like, did you go to the cemetery on the anniversary? Why haven't you guys talked to me in so long? Mind you, on the anniversary was when Rocco died, so no, they did not go to the cemetery. But as part of the cover-up, Judge took Adam to the cemetery the next day, and they made it a point to talk to like the cemetery guard and everything, so that, you know, when they questioned the cemetery guard, he would be like, yeah, I did see them there. And the judge was like, oh, you know, he's not gonna really know the difference whether it was the 9th or the 10th, because, you know, like, who's gonna remember that? They're like, you know, it'll just be, you know, in his mind that yes, he did speak to us, right? So that becomes relevant again later. But the grandma obviously notices, because she, since they didn't call her that day, she went to the funeral at the end of the day and saw that there was nothing on the mom's grave. So when Adam is telling her, like, yeah, we wrote her a letter, we brought her this kind of flower, and da-da-da-da, she's like, she knows that he's lying, right? So now she wants to have this awkward dinner party. She starts inviting people, like Charlie comes, and I think Detective Nancy was there, and then of course Adam and Judge. And then while they're having this dinner, Lee shows up, and it was just like super awkward, and Senator Grandma just asks a lot of questions, bro. So then Adam goes and he gets some photos to show everybody, because he's a photographer. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but the mom is also a photographer, so now he wants to follow in the mom's footsteps, right? So I guess that's why he was taking pictures at the scene of the crime, but like, no, bro, no. So now I'm thinking, oh my god, he took pictures of his bloody shoes and stuff. So I was like, I know this boy is not about to show them pictures of his bloody shoes at the dinner table, but he didn't. He's not that dumb, thankfully. And then Senator Grandma's like interrogating Lee, like, oh, when did you guys start, you know, when did you start seeing him, or when did you start getting close? I guess trying to figure out if it like overlapped with his marriage. And then freaking Django, bro, this dog, man, he had took that bloody towel and he tossed it under like a wardrobe, like a little dresser in the like whatever, the foyer. And while they're all at the dinner table, he's like whining and trying to dig it out. And why did Judge get up and pull it out from under the wardrobe, bro, while everybody was sitting there, and somebody was like, is that blood? And somehow he managed to play it off, and then it like never showed up again, which was weird, but whatever. Then we cut to the Baxter family, and Sophia is talking about how she doesn't really believe in God, and her family's super religious, so it's a big problem. And then we cut to the final scene of this episode, where Eugene is walking home with his brand new wad of cash that he just got from the Desire crew, and his house blows up in front of him with his mom and all his siblings in it. So the Baxters blew up their house in retaliation. Okay, so now his whole entire family's dead. It's just him. So now he's really gonna be like, you know, part of the Desire crew, because he has no one else and nowhere else to go. Alright, so now episode 5, and the final episode in this, the final episode that I'm going to talk about in this video. I really didn't want this video to be this long, but I tried. There's a lot going on. Alright, so now Judge is in the courthouse. He's like, you know, judging a case or whatever, and somebody's getting texts on their phone, and he's like, come on guys, like, what is this about? Like, turn your phones off. But the texts keep popping, and then he realized that it's coming from his drawer, and so he opens the drawer, and there's a burner phone in there, and somebody is blackmailing him, bro. Somebody's like, I want $20,000 or however much money it was, I don't remember, and you have to bring it to this and this place or whatever. So now he goes home, and I'm like, why would you go in the house? You don't know who's in there. I'm thinking that it's gonna be Jimmy. Like, now Judge's life is in danger. And then he goes in the house and he finds Django passed out, and I'm just so like, I cannot take it. If animals die in shows, that's probably like the only time that I would cry in a show, is if an animal died. Like, if it's humans, we expect that, but I just don't like when we're mean to animals. I literally wrote my heart can't take it. So then we cut to the Baxter family again, and Gina's like, oh, I feel so much better after blowing up that house. Like, She's literally a demon. Like, she's a demonium. So now they're doing like a march in the streets, and they walk by the burnt down Jones's house. So Kofi's last name is Jones, so that was the Joneses family's house. They pass by the burnt down house, and it seems like Eugene is looking for revenge, right? And then so Eugene is at the Desire house, and we meet like the big head honcho of the Desire crew, which is Big Mo. So Lil Mo was like the mini head honcho. He's the right hand man, right? I don't know what the terms are for this. So Eugene is on the porch talking to Big Mo, and after their conversation, she's basically like, we're gonna take care of you, kind of thing, and you have a home here with us. And she gets up and she leaves, and she's also like, don't do anything stupid, like, you work for, like, not you work for us now, but like, you're with us now, so like, let us handle it, kind of thing. And so she gets up, walks away, and she leaves him another wad of cash. And so Eugene gets up and he goes to where she went and was like, here, you dropped your money. And everybody's like, bro, just keep it, kind of thing. But I guess he's like, he wasn't trying to be a part of the crew. Like, that's not what he wanted. But they kind of didn't really give him a choice, it seems. Alright, where am I? So the judge is being distorted. Django's at the distorted. The judge is being extorted. Django's at the vet. Django has like a heart problem and he has to take medication. So I guess I don't remember what happened exactly here. If somebody was in the house and did something to Django, or if Adam just forgot to give him his meds, or both. I don't remember, because there was a point where Jimmy was in. Did that happen yet? I don't think that's happened yet. Because at some point, Jimmy starts to figure out that it wasn't Kofi. And he starts to like investigate. He goes into Judge's house and he does something to Django, but I can't remember when that happens. Okay, where was I? Because I think it does happen sometime in this episode. So Adam goes to Rocco's memorial and he sees the sister there, right? And then like the next day or something, or like a couple days later, he sees her at like a coffee shop and they start talking, and I'm like, why? Everything that Adam does, I just want to know why. What possesses you to do these things? So now they're like hitting it off, and he's like asking about Rocco. He's like, what was he like? And they're like bonding over the fact that his mom passed away and now her brother passed away. It's like a whole thing, like just super weird. Like, Adam, what is wrong with you? I guess then Lee comes around Desire, and I forgot what her goal was there, what she was trying to do. If she was trying to get information from them, or if she was just trying to protect Eugene. But Big Mo basically tells her to F off. And let's see. Judge is in the elevator with some kids, and they're talking about their case, and he's like, who's your judge? And basically tells them how to like get on the judge's good side. And then he asks them if they know how to trace a burner. So now he's on the hunt to find the person that's extorting him, right? So he's looking for him, and he brings... Oh, wait, okay, so before that happens, everything jumps around so much in this show, it like confuses me, and my notes are all jumbled up, so my bad. So Big Mo and Little Mo go to the hotel that the Baxters own to talk to Jimmy, right? And they're uninvited, they just walk in, and Jimmy's like, what the hell are you doing here? So basically, Big Mo went to tell Jimmy that they didn't have anything to do with Rocco's death, and it wasn't Kofi that did it. Basically, I guess because she doesn't want a war between the Baxters and the Desire crew, right? So she's going to like clear the air, and like as a courtesy, I guess. And then I don't know, for some reason I thought it was her that planted the burner, because she knew that it was Judge's son that did it, but it wasn't her. I was dragging it. So now Lee wants to get a second autopsy because, oh, I didn't even mention, they determined for the first autopsy, of Kofi's body, the dirty cops got to the coroner first, so they got the coroner to say that it was undetermined as cause of death. So now Lee wants to get a second autopsy, but she needs permission from a parent, so she goes to find Kofi's biological dad. And that's how she's like talking to Eugene, and Eugene is the one that gives her the information that they have a different dad, and so she goes to find the dad or whatever, and she gets permission from him. Okay, so then we cut to Judge is at the bank, and he's trying to take out like an obscene amount of money, obviously because he wants to just pay off this ransom that he's getting for the bribery or whatever. And shouldn't he know better that you can't take that much money out at one time? And that's like a huge red flag when you go to a bank in a panic and ask for that amount of money. Like, you should not. That doesn't look good on you. I feel like you should know better as a judge. So then, okay, so then the Baxters hear the 911 call, and they find out that there's a second 911 call, and it came from the gas station. Or no, 911 had called Adam back, and I don't know if he accidentally picked up the phone while he was at the gas station, but they could tell that he was at a gas station because like people were honking in the background just from the background noise. So now the Baxters know about the gas station, right? And then for some reason, Judge decides to threaten the dude that is extorting him. I forgot what he said exactly, but you know, he's on the hunt to find this guy. So at this point, Judge is like threatening the dude that's extorting him. He's on the hunt for him, like he's gonna find him kind of thing. And then we kind of find out that the guy that's extorting Judge is the guy that was behind Adam at the gas station. And the dude was like kind of screaming at Adam because Adam was taking too long to pump his gas, and all this is happening, and like 911 is on the phone, and the dude is honking and yelling at him like hurry up kind of thing. So that's what they hear in the recording from the 911 call, the second one. So now the Baxters know that, and now Judge kind of figured it out too. So that's where episode 5 ends, and you will just have to come back for the next episode to hear what happens next. Although I hope that you've already seen the show if you're watching this video, because there's a lot of spoilers. I hope y'all enjoyed. I know this was very lengthy, but it was a lot of information. I tried my best to get it all packed in there as quickly as possible. Definitely, if you've watched this show, give me your feedback in the comments. Did I miss anything? What are your thoughts? And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support the channel.